Tom Crist was a man who won the $40 million jackpot and gave every penny away. But why would someone walk away from life-changing wealth? The answer may leave you speechless. Early life. Tom Crist wasn't a popular person in his early days. He never did anything extraordinary or even have a remarkable childhood that was so crazy that it seeped through the media. He came from a well-to-do home and had a solid education, and like every other person, he decided to get a job, which was kind of ordinary. But that's one thing about real heroes. They always begin ordinary and unremarkable. Tom was driven by ambition and worked extremely hard in his life and was never given anything for free. For 4 decades, he worked in the telecom industry, steadily climbing the corporate ladder, determined to get to the top. He joined the company at a young age and would be placed in the electric products distributor department. It was a job which required high business acumen, exceptional leadership skills, and passion for the job. Boxes that Tom Crist would easily tick. After years of hard work, he attained the position of CEO, one where he really flourished, generating hundreds of millions in revenue annually. And while he was a brilliant businessman, his greatest achievement, if you were to ask him, would be his family. He was married to Jan, the love of his life, and together they had 4 children. It was easy to see that they were a close-knit family who would do anything for each other. Family time was extremely important. They would often go on vacations to bond and make new memories, and were a happy family, but not for long. That happiness would soon turn to sorrow, and their lives would be shaken beyond measure. Every gambler has that one story, the time they beat the odds and hit it big. Now it's your turn to create your story and become a main character in our future videos. Welcome to Crypto Rush, where luck meets opportunity in the world of crypto gambling. Deposit crypto, play your favorite games, and cash out in seconds. Crypto Rush brings the joy and excitement of a casino to your fingertips. Click the first link in the description and start your winning streak today. Use code CR50 to get $50 free to play on slots, casino games, or the sportsbook. Crypto Rush, where legends are made. Losing Jan. Tom Crist's wife, Janice, had been feeling unwell for quite some time. Upon visiting the hospital in 2006, she would then be diagnosed with cancer. For 6 grueling years, she fought for her life and her family. Receiving care at Calgary's Tom Baker Cancer Center, Tom stood firmly with his wife all throughout the process and witnessed firsthand all of the challenges that cancer patients endured in their families. During that time, Tom had picked up a new hobby of playing the lottery. But he was a well-to-do man and did not need to play. Everything he needed was available to him, and his children were well taken care of. So then the question became, why did he start playing the lottery in the first place? Nobody really knows that answer. Perhaps it was something he did for excitement to get the blood pumping, or maybe to add some spice into his life. Perhaps it was something his peers did, and they did it as a group just to mess around. Or maybe it was a coping mechanism, something to take his mind away from the fact that the love of his life was slowly changing into a person he could no longer recognize, and the fact that he'd begun to realize that he was likely going to lose her. He needed an activity that would take his mind off the unbearable reality, even if it was just for a few moments. After years of treatment, chemotherapy, and medication, Jan's body finally gave up, and Tom had lost his wife. The loss had broken him, and he lost interest in everything that was around him. He even retired from his job that same year. He already secured a comfortable life for himself and his family, so he didn't need to worry about the future. Everything in Tom's life would change after Janice's death, but the one thing that never changed was his dedication to his children. Something was about to happen, though, that would bring back the meaning of his life and give him a purpose, something born out of pure luck. The Lottomax lottery jackpot. It was sometime in May of 2013 when Tom became a regular player of the Lottomax, the Canadian lottery with jackpots as high as hundreds of millions. Tom had what you would call a subscription-based account, meaning that he never needed to manually purchase the tickets or go through the hassle of engaging with tickets to check them. Every single thing would be automated for him. They were automatically purchased for each draw and deducted from his account, so a certain ticket would be automatically purchased, and it turned out to carry the winning numbers. Tom had won the $40 million Lottomax jackpot because of his subscription-based ticket purchase, which just kept going. Tom had no idea he had even purchased the ticket, let alone that he had won. He carried on with his life without the knowledge that something had changed. Usually, winners of the jackpot would turn up excited and claim their prize in only a few days, but when nobody showed up to claim the money, The Western Canada Lottery Corporation had to contact him directly as they had all the information from the subscriptions. Imagine if it was the case of just walking in and buying a lottery ticket with cash. There would have been no way to track the winner, and since Tom wasn't even checking anymore to see how his tickets were doing, it would have been a complete loss. But thankfully, the Lottomax had an effective system. That's when Tom got the call one morning informing him that he had won $40 million, and the crazy part was, he wasn't all that excited. He was happy to have won the lottery, he just didn't react the same way that a person might when they had won such a ridiculous amount of money. When he was interviewed by the media, he said he didn't need the money and that his kids were taken care of, and that his wife would have wanted him to do something good. Most winners would talk about the money and how it would change their lives. Even the ones who were well-to-do would go crazy with extra money to fuel their luxurious desires, but Tom seemed as though he didn't have a care in the world. Some people might have been curious about how much he actually received, because in the United States there was an annuity and a lump sum. The annuity allowed you to receive a certain amount as a salary every year for a period of 30 years, but when you took the lump sum, it was taxed out in a one-time payment that was a percentage of the original winning. But in Canada, the system's different, and when you win the lottery in Canada, there are no taxes on your lottery winnings, and you're allowed to have the full amount. From that very day Tom received his winnings, he had already decided what he was going to do. He was going to give every single penny of it away. Tom's decision. Tom's wife Janice had spent years fighting cancer, and Tom saw firsthand how difficult it was, not only for patients who suffered, but for their families as well, and the fact that they struggled financially. They would sell assets and properties, take out loans, and had dealt with severe trauma when they could no longer shoulder the heavy medical bills. Tom didn't only lose his wife to cancer, though, he watched others lose their loved ones as well. So instead of keeping the money to himself, he set up a charitable foundation, the Tom Crist Foundation, in order to honor his wife, dedicated to supporting cancer-related charities as well as children, hospitals, and families struggling with huge medical expense. The media, of course, were curious to see if he would actually go through with the plan and without using some part of the money for personal needs. You know how hungry they can be for a story that doesn't quite add up. In this case, though, Tom really did do what he said he was going to do, and he started immediately. How to spend $40 million the Crist way. Crist began by distributing part of his winnings across charities in Canada. Unlike most lottery winners that take years to decide and strategize, the Crist Foundation began donating immediately. Around $1.2 million went to the Tom Baker Cancer Center, the same place where Janice was treated before she passed away. The donation would be aimed at finding new cancer treatments and improving patient care. Another $1.2 million went to the Calgary Zoo, and $1 million went to the Alberta Cancer Foundation, as well as other foundations all across the country. Hundreds of thousands of children in hospitals whose parents could not afford their treatment would get a huge surprise and another opportunity to live. You must be wondering how long the foundation could keep doling out the cash before it ran out, which is a fair question. But Tom was way ahead of you. He made a few investments and collaborations in order to ensure that dividends would be able to keep the foundation running for a long time. One of his investments was in a click-and-watch online video service for children, delivering educational and entertaining content on any device, and all with a monthly subscription. With a widespread portfolio of investments, the Tom Crist Foundation had adequate funds to continue providing help to those in need for many years to come. Walking away from $40 million. Tom's decision to give away his fortune to charity is frequently discussed as an oddity when it comes to the typical behavior of a lottery winner. There have been thousands of them over the years, and the idea of sudden wealth is one that often comes with consequences of its own. Many lottery winners will go bankrupt in only a few years after winning, some fall victim to scammers, and some make great financial decisions that help them preserve their fortune for years to come. But rarely will you ever hear of a lottery winner giving it all away. Tom never allowed his money to change him. He never bought a mansion, cars, or jewelry, or even went on shopping sprees. He never flaunted his wealth on social media, even though he could. He didn't go all in on gambling to double his money overnight. Crist is without a doubt one of the most admired lottery winners in history, and became a symbol of selflessness and hope to many who were battling cancer and unable to get adequate care due to financial difficulty. Today, Tom Crist continues to live a humble and private life in Canada. The Tom Crist Foundation remains active, making life-saving donations in the memory of his wife Janice. If you were in Tom Crist's shoes, would you give away a life-changing sum of money like $40 million? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.